At its core, Dune is a Greek tragedy disguised as a space opera. It is a harsh, cautionary tale about the catastrophic damage caused when billions of people blindly follow a charismatic savior. To understand how this disaster unfolds, we have to look at the universe as it existed before Paul Atreides. For 10,000 years, the known galaxy has been locked in a state of deep cultural and technological stagnation under the rule of the Korinom family. Centuries earlier, humanity fought a devastating war against artificial intelligence, resulting in a strict ban on all computers and thinking machines. Without computers to calculate complex flight paths or process data, humanity had to find a biological alternative. They found it in the spice melange, a highly addictive, life-extending substance. The Spacing Guild uses the spice to mutate their navigators, giving them the prescient vision needed to fold space and travel between stars. Meanwhile, the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood uses it to guide their massive, centuries-long genetic engineering programs. This map shows the northern polar region of Arrakis. It is the only place in the universe where the spice melange can be found. Every noble house and the emperor depend on this single source. Whoever controls Arrakis dictates the survival of the Galactic Empire. That trigger is pulled by the Padishah Emperor, Shaddam IV. He has grown intensely paranoid about the rising influence of Duke Leto Atreides, a leader whose honorable reputation is earning him deep loyalty among the other great houses. The Emperor devises a lethal geopolitical maneuver. He orders House Atreides to abandon their lush ancestral homeworld and take over the spice harvesting operations on Arrakis. This forces the Atreides into a highly exposed position, instantly boxed in by Imperial forces and the planet's previous rulers, their brutal, longtime rivals, the Harkonnens. Duke Leto is not naive. He knows he is walking his family directly into an ambush, but political duty binds him to obey the Emperor's decree. He accepts the assignment, gambling that he can recruit the fierce local population to build a new military force, what he calls desert power, before the trap springs shut. The Emperor intends for this forced migration to eliminate a political rival. Instead, his betrayal creates the exact conditions necessary to forge a weapon far more dangerous than Duke Leto, Leto's own son, Paul Atreides. The trap closes quickly. The Harkonnens launch a massive, devastating sneak attack on the Atreides. They are secretly backed by the Emperor's elite, disguised Sardaukar troops. The Atreides' defenses are overwhelmed, and Duke Leto is killed. But the Harkonnens failed to wipe out the bloodline entirely. Leto's teenage heir, Paul, and his Bene Gesserit mother, Lady Jessica, managed to escape the massacre, fleeing into the deep, lethal desert of Arrakis. To survive the harsh environment, they are forced to seek shelter with the Fremen. These are the heavily underestimated native inhabitants of the deep desert, hardened by generations of extreme water scarcity and brutal Harkonnen oppression. The Fremen discover the Atreides refugees and agree to take them in. The Harkonnens celebrate their apparent victory, completely unaware of what they have actually done. By driving Paul into the wasteland, they have pushed a highly trained, genetically engineered heir into the ultimate survival crucible, injecting a volatile new variable into the planetary ecosystem. To secure their place among the Fremen, Paul and Jessica exploit the Bene Gesserit's darkest tool, the Missionaria Protectiva. For centuries, the Sisterhood has been seeding primitive worlds with engineered religious myths and prophecies, specifically so that a stranded sister could manipulate the local population for protection. Paul quickly realizes that his unique physical and mental training perfectly matches the parameters of the specific Messiah myth planted on Arrakis, the prophecy of the Lisan al-Gaib, the voice from the outer world. He makes a calculated, strategic decision to lean entirely into the religious narrative. He adopts the Fremen name Muad'Dib. He ingests the toxic water of life to unlock his prescient mind. And he learns to ride and command the gargantuan sandworms of Arrakis, proving his divine status to the native tribes. With the Fremen viewing him as their unquestionable god, Paul weaponizes their fanatical devotion. He organizes them into a lethal fighting force that systematically dismantles the Harkonnen operations, eventually threatening to destroy the spice cycle entirely, effectively holding the galactic economy hostage. His monopoly over the spice brings the entire universe to knees. Paul corners the Spacing Guild, overthrows the Padishah Emperor who orchestrated his father's death, and claims the Golden Lion throne for himself. On the surface, this mimics a classic hero's triumph over evil, but by weaponizing faith to achieve his revenge, Paul has activated a fanaticism he cannot turn off, effectively trapping himself inside an uncontrollable, violent myth. The reality of Paul's ascension is a waking nightmare. His victory on Arrakis is merely an illusion of peace. By cementing his status as a divine figure, he unleashes the Fremen across the galaxy in an unstoppable, bloody jihad. The statistics of this holy war are staggering. Over 12 standard years, his followers slaughter 61 billion people, sterilize 90 planets, and completely eradicate 40 religions, all in the name of their hero, Paul Muad'Dib. This catastrophe does not end with Paul. The consequences span across generations, culminating in the reign of his son, detailed in the 1981 novel God Emperor of Dune. To enforce his own vision of survival, Leto II evolves into something entirely inhuman. He merges his physical body with the larval stage of a sandworm, ruling the universe as a literal monster and absolute tyrant for 3.5 millennia. When you examine the timeline, the cold truth emerges. The Atreides family, initially presented as the noble victims, inflict vastly more death, suffering, and tyranny upon humanity than the Harkonnens ever did. This massive science fiction tragedy was born directly from reality. In the 1950s, long before he wrote Dune, Frank Herbert worked as a political speechwriter here in Washington, D.C. Navigating the halls of government, he witnessed firsthand the quiet megalomania that corrupts leadership. He saw how easily the public surrenders its critical thinking to magnetic, charming politicians who promise easy solutions to complex problems. He wrote his masterpiece to combat that exact impulse. Dune is a deliberate, meticulously constructed warning against the human urge to trust charismatic leaders, demonstrating how quickly devotion turns into destruction. The story endures not because it satisfies our craving for a triumphant savior. It endures because it forces us to realize that absolute power and blind faith are the true great filters of human civilization.